But it looks like it.
Hi, everybody.
Hey!
Oh, that was nice and exciting. It is Friday, so you know what that means. Pro World Live is here. We have a very special guest host today. So are you excited?
Dun, dun, dun.
Are you
I
ready?
just want to make sure that that I can see us fine before we show you and jump into our guest host here. I am currently not seeing it. So are you excited? Oh, you can see it. Why can't I see it?
I can see it. You gotta refresh.
I am.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, everybody. Let me figure
second.
this out so that way I don't miss anything here.
Good morning. Good
Is everybody
morning.
Well, as always, before we could you stop? Thank you. Woo. Let us know where you're tuning in from and how excited you are for our guest host here today. And
Oh,
there I am. Okay, so now I can.
Don't know. The thing went off. Okay.
All right, we're good. We are good. All right, we're live. I can see us now. And let's bring in our special guest, Joe from Siser. So he should be coming in right over here.
There he is.
There he is.
Hola. Got my face mask ready to go. How's it going, everyone? Thank you so much for having me on.
Not a problem. This is going to be fun and exciting. Get our face masks all decorated.
I already got a head start on mine. So I'm excited to talk and hang out with you guys, but thank you so much, Danielle, and thank you, Pro World, for having us on from Siser. I'm Joe with Siser North America. Yeah, that's right, that Siser guy. Thank you guys for tuning in right now. I got a live here. Please feel free to answer or ask any questions along the way. Well, Danielle, I'm sorry, did I overstep?
No, go. You're doing.
Introduce what we're doing. Maybe I'll wait until you let them know what we're doing today.
Well, we are going to decorate some vinyl on face masks today. Joe has quite a few set up for you. We're going to be working with our premium cotton face masks in both black and white, and also we have some adult and kid styles. And
I already showed it.
you already showed it. Oh, goodness. So he's going to work with some of his, I think probably your favorite vinyl right now.
I have a good medley.
Yeah, good. All right.
Yeah.
Well, like always, throw out your questions. We'll kind of answer them as we go. But go ahead, Joe. You can take it over from here.
Okay, awesome. Again, thank you all for taking the time. I am very honored to be a part of this. I've been waiting patiently to be able to do something collaborative with Pro World like this. And we figured it would be a great time to kind of combine everything that we're going through right now, right? So it does definitely appear that these face masks are going to be a part of our outfits for the time being. So again, like Danielle said, Pro World hooked me up with the different kinds we're going to be pressing on today, which are across the board, all cotton that I'm working with. I have black, white adult size, and then black and white kids size. So I'm going to press one for each one. Each design is going to be a little bit different. One thing I do want to point out too that I noticed that these particular ones actually have the carbon filter in it too. So when you get these, just make sure you don't have the filter in it. But I am going to go through a wide variety of different Siser heat transfer vinyls we're going to be pressing on. I worked up with my colleague Bo, who's actually going to be in the comments as well. He helped me with all these designs I'm going to be pressing today. We are going to be showing you, as Danielle said, one of my personal favorites, which is Easyweed Stretch. But we have the brand new, and I know I've seen Danielle do some lives on it, but the brand new Siser Sparkle heat transfer vinyl we're going to be showing. I'm going to be mixing in the glow-in-the-dark Easyweed the glow-in-the-dark Easyweed. I have even Brick 600, and then we have one with EasySubli, which I know is a huge topic, and real quick too. I hope that that's something we can come back and discuss, because I know that you guys have a lot of questions with the Siser EasySubli heat transfer vinyl, And I do want to touch base on it, but I don't want to go into too much detail because I want to save that for another live. So again, please feel free to ask any questions along the way, and I will be sure to answer them.
Here's a comment, Joe. There's a comment that came through from Karen. She said she was just looking at sublimation videos you did from 2015, and you look so young.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the quarantine and 5 years later do add a little bit on to me. So, you know, I'm sorry, I changed. But yeah, thank you so much. It has been a wide progression of, I guess, the timeline of Joe in the last 5 years, or really 6 years of doing videos. So, all right, awesome. We're going to start.
I look the same.
We all look different.
We all look different. What are you going to do, right?
Right.
So, okay, we're going to start with, I'm going to do the very first one because we thought this would be kind of comical, and I'm going to show with the Siser Brick 600. Now, for those that have never worked with the Siser Brick 600, this is our thickest heat transfer vinyl. And before I get into this, just to maybe answer some of these questions or apprehension that some people might have when it comes to decorating on these face masks, just to let you know, with Siser heat transfer vinyls, our products are CPSA certified. So it is absolutely safe for you to put these on your face mask. I know there's been a lot of different conflicting information out there, but I'm telling you from the horse's mouth that it's okay to press Siser heat transfer vinyl onto these face masks. It is safe for you. It's non-toxic, so that's okay to do. So if you had any questions on that, I just want to let you know. Okay, so again, the Brick 600 is the thickest heat transfer vinyl. So we thought with one of the kids' size masks, I don't know how many people are actually going back into school this fall, so I don't know, and it hurts me because I'm such a fan of Halloween. So all of my designs today are Halloween, fall themed, but I know that no matter what, the holiday's coming, so we have to decorate it. So how many cool kids, or you may have some cool kids that are like, all I'm going to do is put on a shirt that says, hello, my name is something, and then that's your Halloween costume. So we figured we'd do the same thing with the mask, and what we did is we cut out, this is my Halloween costume. So for those that are going to wear this out in public, that's all you got to pop on your face mask, and that's all you need to do. So I'm going to be pressing all of these today with my heat press. Now, for those that don't have a heat press just yet, you can absolutely get one from Pro World, but if you are still using a home iron, you can do that with the Siser heat transfer vinyl. You can put that on a mask. That's okay. But I am going to be using the heat press today to press on these. I'm also going to be using this smaller size heat press pillow, which is going to allow me to get the even pressure I need to get around these seams, especially on a smaller mask like this. The outside edges can cause uneven pressure. So we still want to make sure we're getting even pressure. So what I'm going to do is adjust my pressure accordingly. Now with the heat press pillow, it's going to adjust my pressure. I have it set exactly where I want to. I have my pressure knob if I need to increase or decrease it. And then you want to pre-press it, get out the wrinkles and moisture, and it'll give you a flat surface when you're pressing on these heat transfer vinyls. So again, this
quick, Joe, really quick to interrupt you. We got a couple questions here.
Sure.
One question from Karen. She says to Pro World, do you have brick in stock?
We should. We do. Jess can double check that, and we'll message that in the comments.
Yes.
And another question from Jody says, has anyone done foil on masks?
We have in the office, and I don't know if you're referring to the Easyweed adhesive with the screen print foils on top of it. If so, yes, we've done that. Sometimes people call our metal heat transfer vinyl a foil. If that's what you're referring to, yes, we've done that as well. I don't have a sample of it here, I'm sorry, but we have done it. It is possible. And
Right.
just to let you guys know, I mean, for everything I'm going to be showing you today, Pro World should have, they are an authorized Siser distributor, so that's who you would go to if you're looking for anything regarding Siser heat transfer vinyls, as well as these masks. These masks I'm using came from them. So,
Yes.
yeah. Great questions. All right, so I'm going to press the Brick 600. So I'm using a cover sheet. Now, again, this is just a one-colored Brick 600 is not a product that we recommend layering anything necessarily on top of it. So if you were to layer with Brick 600, you want that to be the top layer, unless you do that embossed effect, which we debated doing, but I don't want to confuse further. So another important thing to remember when you are working with any of our heat transfer vinyls is to make sure you find out whether or not it's a hot or cold peel. So that's very important to know. With the Brick 600, it is a cold peel. So little trick for you to know is if it is a non-stick backing. So this right here is what we call a static backing. So it doesn't have that sticky carrier. That is an indicator that it's going to be a cold peel. So it's just a quick tip in case you didn't know. But here you go. Here's the first one. Can you guys see it? This is my Halloween costume.
Perfect.
You're gonna wear that, Gianna, right?
You gonna wear it?
I'm gonna wear an actual Halloween costume.
Oh, I like to hear that, right? You're gonna actually put time in. But this is creative, right? That means that you had to set this up on your vinyl cutter, create the design, cut it, weed it, apply it. I'll give you that. So this is the first one. Again, I'll come in close just to hopefully see some dimension. I don't know if it's hard to pick up, but like Brick, it definitely adds a 3D effect to it. It's really soft. It's got a nice hand to it. So again, this is an easy project for you. Okay, so the next one, we're going to do another use size, but we're going to do the dark color, and we're going to mix. We're going to do Easyweed Glow in the Dark, which is white. And then when the lights go out, obviously it glows in the dark. Unfortunately, I'm probably not going to be able to show you it in action, but I promise you. And then the other layer is actually going to be our brand new, it's going to be the black sparkle. So I know it doesn't make sense for it to go onto a black textile, but I like that contrast. Again, sparkle is our brand new smooth glitter heat transfer vinyl that has the glitter flakes embedded inside of it. So it does have a flash to it. It's really soft. You can layer on it. We're going to be showing some other samples with it. So I'm going to start with the larger transfer first. So the Easyweed Glow in the Dark is what I'm going to press on first. Let me make sure I did this right. Okay.
While you're doing that, Joe, we got a couple questions that came in.
Okay.
Question from Robin says, are you able to do bling or rhinestone on a sublimated mask?
Yes.
That is out of my pay grade because we don't do anything with that, but I'll let Danielle answer that one.
You can, I can definitely do the rhinestones on the side of the mask. Where'd my mask go?
I put it over there.
I would decorate and use it on the side or the edges. Probably wouldn't do right on the top, but you do have a lot of space between the rhinestones. So you definitely could do rhinestones. If you wanted to kind of get that look of rhinestones, but not potentially have the feel of the rhinestones sticking out, you can go with the Siser holographic vinyl and kind of cut that in that circle pattern like a rhinestone. So that's also an option too.
Like a rhinestone?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hey, Joe, here's a question for you from Dale. He says, how breathable is the strip flock on mask?
Okay, that's a great question. Now, there is a big variable on it. It's all dependent on the size of the design. If you have a design, it would be pretty comparable to this Brick 600. But a design like this, where it's all text and kind of broken up, it's not going to really necessarily hinder anything. So it depends on what the design is. Now, if you're covering the entire face mask with strip lock or brick, it's going to be heavy. So it is going to cause a little bit of it being more of an issue trying to breathe directly through it. But honestly, what we've even noticed within a lot of these masks is most of the time, the airflow is either coming from the top or the bottom or from the outside. So strip lock is another great option. You shouldn't have any issues with that. But good question.
Question: Are brick and sparkle stretchable?
That's another great question. Two very different products, but the brick, again, is 600 microns. So just to explain that is it's basically like probably most of you are familiar with our Easyweed line. Easyweed is 90 microns. So brick is almost over 6 times thicker than the Easyweed. So it's really dependent on the design. It's not very stretchable. It's really not stretchable at all. So it just depends on what you have. But a design like this, again, it's brick 600, it's broken up. But see, because it's broken up, I'm able to stretch my design. Now, if you had one solid image of brick and try to stretch it, it's not really going to stretch. To answer your other question, sparkle, kind of the same thing, but less. Like sparkle is actually much more stretchy, and it's stretchier than our regular glitter heat transfer vinyl, if you're familiar with that. So the regular glitter has that rough surface. That is not as stretchy. Sparkle is definitely a stretchier product. Cool.
Yeah. One more. Larry says he noticed he only held down the press down for a few seconds. Is that normal for layering?
Thank you, Larry. I wanted to see if anyone was paying attention. I know Danielle was talking. I wasn't trying to distract you, but I wanted to see. So what I did while that was going on is I tacked my Easyweed glow in the dark down for 1 second. So for those that are not familiar, if you haven't seen any of the videos we've ever done, I show that a lot. And it's a huge benefit with our Easyweed family. So I know Danielle's done projects where you've seen that, but when you're layering Easyweed or using it in your design, you can, in multiple colors, you can tack it down for 1 second and peel a carrier hot. It not only speeds up your process, but when you're working with 100% cotton of anything, I know you've probably dealt with registration issues where the garment shrunk. So what happens if you wait too long and you press it for the full duration and it's cotton, that high heat from the heat press is going to shrink your textile. So that is what is the biggest benefit of the 1 second tack. So the 1 second tack, I press it down, I peeled it hot, which is great, and it's not done. The only purpose is so now I can take my next layer, which is my sparkle, and I'm going to lay it onto my mask. And since this is my last layer, I'm going to press the entire thing for the full duration. So when you layer multiple colors of Easyweed and you do that 1 second tack, just make sure you go back and press it for the entire duration. That's very important. If you do the 1 second tack and throw it in the wash, it's probably gonna wash up. All right, and I want to show you before your eyes that with the sparkle, which is what I just laid down, is also a hot peel. So I'm going to come in close just to show you what this one is. Again, so the stars on it are the Easyweed glow in the dark. So that's right. If the lights were all out, that would glow an awesome fluorescent green. And then as you can see, that is the black sparkle on this. So you can see that sheen to it. So it just gives a tone on tone. It looks really, let me know what you think of them.
I love that.
I like that.
I like that. Looks really cool, right?
He has his Halloween costume.
I have my Halloween costume, yes.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Karen says, really quickly, Danielle, will you please put a link of all the products that Joe spoke about today
Absolutely.
in the description section?
Yeah.
There you go.
We'll get those up.
All right, so now I'm going to show you the mask that I wear. This is obviously the reference to, well, saw, right? So we made this up, and in this is what Danielle was saying. One of my favorite personal go-to is our Easyweed Stretch. So the red in this is our bright red Easyweed Stretch. And then I know it's very, very subtle from here, but the black detail on here is actually our Easyweed Matte Black. So have you used that yet, Danielle?
Yes, we have used the matte color.
Okay.
We actually did those on cork coasters.
Okay. So a lot of people kind of ask, what is the difference, or what was the whole like excitement about the matte Easyweed matte launch that we just did? And essentially what it is, for those that aren't familiar or maybe don't pay that much attention yet, but if you're not particular on the overall finish of your transfer, so just to let you know real quick, regular Easyweed, after you peel that carrier, it does have a semi-gloss finish. So it does kind of have that glossy finish to it. And some people want that flat matte look to it. So that's when we came out with that line. And just to kind of add a little bit more confusion to all that, is our Easyweed Stretch line is also all matte. It doesn't say it, it's Easyweed Stretch, but the finish is a matte finish. So for those that ever wanted to try Easyweed Stretch. So we're going to combine the two. And I have a couple transfers here that I didn't weed yet because I want to show you guys the heat press trick for those that have never done this before. This is one of my favorite things I love to show people. Obviously, for those that have used Easyweed or any of the Easyweed family, you know that it's already, hence the name, easy to weed. But in case you are like me and you get impatient and you want to speed up the process, we have a way to make it even faster. And that's when you're working next to your heat press. And all you have to do is, while it's on, is close it for a few seconds on that lower plate, and it's going to warm it up. Give it about five seconds. And then once you do that, you can lay your cut piece of Easyweed or Easyweed Stretch and weed it right on there. And what that does is I'm barely lifting this Easyweed Stretch. So if you have a ton of things to weed and you got your strapped for time, this is my favorite thing to do to speed up the weeding process. So I'm using the Stretch, and I'm going to lay the Easyweed Matte Black directly on top of that Easyweed Stretch.
Quick question for you.
Sure.
Says Howie says, what's your thinnest translucent bleed through look HTV?
Oh, that's a lot.
Yes.
Say that again.
It's right there.
What's your thinnest translucent bleed through look HTV?
Thinnest translucent bleed through. I feel like there's contradicting words in there.
All right.
So we try, just to let you know, like we try to avoid anything bleeding through, right? Because we want the color to show. If anything, and I'm going to show it today in another sample, I think. But anyways, here it is. It's actually the Sparkle Clear. So Sparkle Clear, the same sparkle, obviously it's got the glitter flakes embedded to it, but it's a clear heat transfer vinyl that if you lay it on any color textile, it's going to be that color of the garment showing through. I hope that answers the question. But this would probably be your go-to, but it is a sparkle heat transfer vinyl. So you got to remember it does have a glitter to it.
Yeah.
Yep. So Sparkle Clear. There you go, Dale. So, okay. All right. So we're going to lay down our Easyweed Stretch. Now, remember, another thing that is very, very important when you're mixing all these different medias that I just did here, I don't know what those ones are, but
Check matte clear with Thermoflex.
What was that? I'm sorry.
He says like Super Tech matte clear or Thermoflex.
Well, that's a different brand of vinyl. So we can link that in after when we're all done with this.
And another one you can recommend too, if it's just getting like an actual transparent heat transfer vinyl, Danielle, is if you want to show the Easyweed adhesive. If they just use the Easyweed adhesive, it's transparent, right? So you're going to get, everything's going to peer through.
That's true.
So I don't know. It's just an option. I'm sorry if that didn't answer any questions. I want to make sure though, for this application, now that I'm using Easyweed Stretch, I have to stress this for Stretch, is that your pressure on your heat press is very, very important. So if anyone's ever used Easyweed Stretch and possibly had it peel off and had problems maybe in the wash, 98% of the time when you call us, it's because we narrow it down to inadequate pressure. So what's very important is when you're using Easyweed Stretch that you dial in your pressure a lot more. And once you have that dialed in, again, just like the last one we did, I'm tacking that down for 1 second and peeling hot. And that was for my Easyweed Stretch. And now I'm going to lay my Easyweed matte directly on top of my stretch layer. And then I'm going to press this entire thing for the full duration.
Got a quick question here from T. She says, I sew my own masks that have a seam in the middle. How can I press a design that goes all the way across, and which vinyl is best for that process?
So that's a great question. That's actually something like we deal with a lot with hats. So hats with 6-panel hats, there's usually the seam down the middle, and people ask that question all the time. You can absolutely use any of our heat transfer vinyls. Some form better over the seam, such as the thinner ones like Easyweed Stretch, regular Easyweed. My only recommendation for anything that goes over a seam is to try to avoid having any of that attribute be very thin. So if you're going to lay it over a seam, make sure that you have the stem thickness thicker than, I can't really give you a measurement, but just make sure it's thick. So the thicker part of the design, just make sure that at least that is what is going over the seam. Because the problem that we have is with thinner parts, thinner attributes of your design, when it goes over the seam on stuff, like a cap or the mask, obviously when you take it on and off and you're bending it, over time you will eventually snap that part of it. So the thicker the part that's in there, the better it'll actually kind of fall into the groove of that seam. So that's my one suggestion. You can absolutely do that, and you can essentially use any of our heat transfer vinyls. So great question.
Here's another one for you.
Oh, Gigi has the question.
Oh, Gigi, go ahead.
What's better, Glossier or matte HTV?
They're equally the same. It's a total personal preference when it comes to that. That's why we did that. My personal preference, I like matte. But our biggest, most popular product that we have is our glitter. I mean, our Easyweed. And our Easyweed is a semi-gloss finish, and people really, really take to that. Because, I mean, you see it.
I was going to say, I would glitter. But
It's not glitter. Yeah, glitter. Is glitter yours?
Glitter's my favorite.
Is it?
Glitter and electric, so I must like the shiny ones.
No, don't get me wrong. My close second is electric, though.
Yeah.
I am a fan of that. I like that. So I'm just going to show you guys the layered on. Check that out. So it's the Easyweed.
That's creepy.
Isn't that creepy? Creepier on the face, but and this is the matte black layered directly on top of the Easyweed Stretch. Now remember, a lot of people, I wash my masks, I wash everything. Any kind of textile that you're gonna wash after you press Siser heat transfer vinyls on, number one, wait at least 24 hours until after it's pressed. So after you press it, wait 24 hours, let the adhesive fully bond to it, and then wash it. And then it's very important, things like this that are white that you may throw in with your other white garments, don't use bleach. So avoid using bleach. Do not use liquid fabric softener, because either one of those is going to end up drying and cracking the adhesive, which will inevitably cause falling off of the transfer. So just letting you know, just wash in normal cold or warm water. You can wash with normal colors, and then when you throw it into your dryer, just avoid going like overly high heat or hang dry it. It's up to you.
All right.
We actually recommend for our masks to be to hang dry. So
Hang dry.
it's perfect for that application then. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you guys just saw, I knocked out 3 so far. Real quick applications. We had a couple on here. I'm down to this 4th one here that I want to show you. I'm going to be doing 2 here. But the first one I'm going to do is actually layering 3 different Siser products on top of each other. So I'm going to show you this with this design, and then I'm going to show you the exact same design, but how you can do it with EasySubli. So first thing I'm going to do, what we did with this, this 3-color, is the bottom transfer is our Grapevine Sparkle. So another Sparkle heat transfer vinyl. And as I stressed about this, I love this new product because, again, I mean, well, like you said, Danielle, you like glitter.
I do.
But for me, I like the ability to be able to layer. Now, normal glitter, we don't suggest layering on each other. With Sparkle, even though it is a glitter, you can layer on one another. So, and you can do this fast tack application with a hot peel. So that first layer I just did was my Sparkle. I'm going to lay, oh, look at this, back to back too, Danielle, because I'm using Easyweed Electric. So layer to go on top of it. I told you I was mixing it up. So Easyweed Electric is going to be my second layer. I'm going to lay that directly on top of my Sparkle. I'm going to do the exact same thing you just saw before. Tack this down for 1 second. Peel hot. Now, my last layer, this is going to be your favorite mask because it's our actual glitter heat transfer vinyl. So the very last, I know it's for you. And this is the new color we just launched not too long ago. So this is the new Ember Orange, which is perfect for the Halloween time because it's actually a really sharp orange. So we're going to use this as our top layer and lay it directly on top of the Easyweed Electric, which is on top of the Sparkle. Now, since that's my last layer, I'm going to press it for the full 15 seconds. So as you saw, I did 1 second for the first layer, 1 second for the second, now the entire full 15 for all 3 layers. And then what's also great about our regular glitter is it's a hot peel.
Yes.
And I'll take it in, see all 3 layers. Hopefully you can see that. Check that out. What do you think of that?
Oh, look at that.
How cool.
Nice.
I see 2 layers.
Wow, the grapevine is kind of dark on there. I blame technology, but I promise you, still only do 3 layers. But it's on there. So
Yeah.
what I'm going to do, this is obviously something you can do with 3 colors of Siser heat transfer vinyl with 3 different products. But if you wanted to narrow it all down, and again, I'm not going to stress overly on this line, but I'm going to actually press our EasySubli. So it's actually 3 colors that we put on our EasySubli, but it's obviously going to be 1 transfer. So I just want to show you a side-by-side. And I'm not going to go too deep into the EasySubli. We'll save that for a later one. But I'm just going to show you because back here, I have my Sawgrass printer set up with the Siser EasySubli inks. So again, sublimation prints. And this is an example of the EasySubli that was printed out that we did on our EasySubli heat transfer vinyl. So as you see, it's got crop marks on there. We cut it out on our silhouette, which brings us to this point. And we already weeded out our excess material. So the next step you have to do is get it from this carrier that's on the back in here over to whatever you're pressing on, which we're going to press on another one of these black cotton masks. And that's just a little, for those that don't know, sublimation, what do you need, Danielle?
What do you need?
To work with regular sublimation.
A printer, right?
Well, white polyester, right?
Oh. I was going to say, wait, this is a trick question or?
That was actually a question that just came in. What type of fabric what type of fabric are the masks made of?
There you go.
For standard sublimation, you need 100% white polyester material. But when working with EasySubli, you can use anything. That's what makes EasySubli so great.
And that's the big game changer we came out with a couple years ago. It's still something we talk about all the time. For those that use sublimation in your day-to-day business or for your crafts or whatever you do for fun, if you incorporate sublimation and you want to do garment decoration with it, you probably already know that white polyester is the only thing you can use with sublimation. But with the Siser EasySubli heat transfer vinyl, you're printing your sublimation inks onto a heat transfer vinyl, which is going to allow you to go on any kind of fabric and any kind of color. So again, I'm using these face masks brought to you by Pro World, which are 100% black cotton. So that's what I'm pressing my EasySubli transfer on right now, just to show you guys.
All right, we got a couple questions real quick.
There it is.
One says from Tony, how safe are the sublimation on the masks?
Oh, it's perfectly fine. They're also they have all the requirements that are needed, so you can do a full coverage print on your polyester mask, and you'll be fine.
All right, they're coming through quickly. Anita says, is the poly breathable?
Yes.
What is the least expensive way to get started with sublimation? Coming from Sherry.
That's we'll save kind of sublimation questions till the end. But we do offer starter packages on our website, and that's where you're going to find the best package and pricing, including the printer and the inks.
There you go. There's a couple other questions that came up from the top. Let me go back real quick.
There's a lot of them.
Karen asks, does Siser have larger than 12-inch rolls? Most women like shiny bling and glitter products, but most of the shiny diamonds.
Yeah, we do have larger sizes than 12-inch.
Yeah.
So again, all you have to do is contact Pro World and see what dimensions and what widths they come in. But yes, we do have larger than 12-inch. Even in the EasySubli back here, if you have a sublimation, this is the SG400, so it's the smallest. It's 8.5 by 11. We have EasySubli dimensions that fit in that, and then we have EasySubli dimensions that fit in the SG 600, or what is it? SG 800?
1,000.
1,000. What's the other one? What's the middle one?
You have the older model was the 800, and then
That's it. I'm sorry, I'm still old school.
newer models are the 500. 500 and the 1,000.
Okay, that's right. The 1,000, yeah, that's even bigger. So, yeah, we do have sizes going that if you were interested in the EasySubli. Okay, so great questions. I'm going to press this real fast. I have my EasySubli transfer already masked. So while you guys were talking, I don't know if anyone caught it, but I had to mask this transfer. And I am using the EasySubli mask, which is very important that you're using this and not any other kind of mask, because the big thing about it is what is formulated with this mask. So it's important when it comes to sublimation to use this if you're using EasySubli. Now, another awesome thing about the EasySubli, again, it is with sublimation inks, but when you sublimate something, what temperature are you normally at with your heat press?
Sorry, go ahead.
What was it?
Go ahead.
What temperature are you normally at when you sublimate something on your heat press?
Are we muted? I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, 400 degrees is what the normal is.
I knew it was coming eventually. Yep. So what's great about this with EasySubli heat transfer vinyl is you're only set to 311 degrees. I know 11. It doesn't. We're an Italian company, so when it goes from Celsius to Fahrenheit, we keep it legit. So 311 degrees for 15 seconds when you press the EasySubli onto whatever you're pressing on. So again, I know it doesn't sound like sublimation, but you're using sublimation inks. So I'm going to preheat this for a couple seconds. Oh, I'm seeing people actually answering. Yes, 400 for 60 seconds when it comes to sublimation, but not here. We're going to be pressing. I'm at 311 degrees, and I'm going to press this down for 15 seconds, and it is sublimation, I promise you. If anyone's ever used EasySubli, let me know. Feel free to chime in. I'd love to see some projects.
I would also love to know other people's favorite vinyl. We all mentioned our favorites.
I know, yeah. Let us know what you think.
Favorite vinyl.
All right, I'm going to come close just to show you what we did. This is the EasySubli in action. As you see, you have colors, patterns. It's a printable product. So whatever you're printing on your sublimation printer is going to go onto this transfer, and you're not limited to however many colors you want to put in there. the design, the clip art, whatever you're trying to do. So we wanted to show a comparison with the same design, but to be able to get an effect with 3 different Siser heat. I promise you, there's 3. The grapevine in the background is very subtle, but there's 3. Or you can simply print it right on your sublimation printer, and this is EasySubli pressed onto it. So I just wanted to get you side by side. So what do you guys think?
There's a lot of EasySubli going, and a lot of
There's a
sparkling glitter. Yeah.
Oh, for people's favorites.
Yeah. The Easyweed.
The Easyweed. Okay.
Yeah.
I love Siser EasyWeed.
Here's a couple questions.
Lots of glitter favorites. You're
A
on.
lot
of glitter.
Can you use a heat pad to help the mask when pressing?
Use a heat press. Yes,
Can you
absolutely. I
use a heat
think
pad? Yes.
Joe did use a pressing pillow for all the masks. So
Yeah.
Always.
I'm just using this very, very small dimensional heat press pillow. Again, like what I really like about these ones in particular, the ones that have the filter that go into them, they're really flat. So even the seams are extremely flat. So I really didn't actually need a pressing pillow, but I could tell with the white adult size, the seams are a little bit thicker. So since, again, on this one particularly, I was using the Easyweed Stretch. So it's very, very vital. I cannot stress this enough, that if you're using Siser Easyweed Stretch, that you have firm and even pressure when you're pressing on either your heat press, or we don't really suggest it, but if you're using a home iron, try to make sure you are actually pressing down with adequate force. Very, very important. So these pillows are very helpful.
What's the price of the pillows?
We have a pack of 4 on our website for, I don't know the exact price, but Jess can definitely put that link up for you.
How big is the pressing pillow? And is it on your site?
Yep, that link, we'll get that link for you, and then that way you can take a look. But it is 4 different sizes. You get a small pocket, a larger kind of leg or arm size, a tote bag, and then the full size.
Donna said sparkle.
Sparkle. Oh, Donna likes the new stuff. Nice.
Sparkle, that's right. So, I mean, that was 5 different masks. I mean, that's what I have for you in regards to masks. I have other things to press, but I mean, does anyone have questions about the masks, or is there anything we want to dig into real quick, or what do you think, Danielle?
There were some questions going down. I got to scroll all the way back up. They were coming in fast. Okay, give me 1 second. Oh, Karen says, awesome. Do you have the SVG for the bat, star, and pumpkin designs that you made?
Well, do you mind if I do social media plugs?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, again, as always, Pro World is a Siser authorized distributor of ours. But we do, of course, have our own social media. It's all education based. We don't do anything direct. So if you want to get any of these SVGs, we actually have a great support group that we have. It's just Siser North America support group on Facebook. Please go join that. And then I'll have Bo, who actually created a lot of these face mask designs, and we'll have those available this afternoon. We'll put those into the group and put them up. And that's kind of what I usually tell people if they're looking for SVGs that we show. So if you don't mind, go do that, and we can hook you up with those.
Awesome.
All right, another one. Maria said, can you layer twinkle?
Absolutely. Well, I was going to, again, I didn't want to go too far. I know the topic was on masks. But we thought, like, since we're in the Halloween spirit, I had a onesie or whatever they're called now. I think it's like bodysuit. We can't say onesie.
Onesie?
But
A bodysuit.
what do they call it? It's not a one.
It's still a onesie.
Is it a onesie? I thought that was like very debatable, or it turned very, I don't know.
No.
Anyway, I got yelled at for saying it one time in a video. So that's why I wanted to make sure we were safe with saying that. So we came up with this design right here, which we thought would be fun and cute, but it's actually layering our Easyweed Fluorescent green as the underbase. We're going to layer the clear sparkle that I was telling you guys about right on top of the Easyweed Fluorescent, and then the orange glitter is going to go directly on top of the clear. You guys want to see me press that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think while you're setting that up, though, it was for a twinkle vinyl, which we don't personally sell at Pro World, but I believe twinkle cannot be layered, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I hear that wrong?
Right. But twinkle vinyl, you can.
Oh yeah, no, twinkle is not recommended to be layered on. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was so ready for sparkle.
Sparkle.
Yeah, I'm all in the sparkle. We've been talking about sparkle for the last 4 weeks, so that's what's ingrained. But twinkle, to answer your question, the Siser Twinkle heat transfer vinyl is not recommended to be layered on top of one another.
Right. But we can go ahead and press that onesie. Let's see.
Are you sure?
We're getting some onesie is trademark.
Not sparkle.
Onesie is trademarked, so it is bodysuit. Thank you. Thank you, Maria.
Teresa, I knew I got yelled at from somebody.
We will stick with bodysuit then.
Yes.
Bodysuit, that's right.
All right, baby bodysuits.
Okay, baby bodysuits. That's what we're going to press. All right, so this is a huge topic too, though, because obviously a lot of people do this as a full-time business and they decorate these. And we hear it a lot with people that may have failure with pressing them. I can tell you right off the rip, with any of these bodysuits, you have all seams galore, plus the buttons down at the bottom. So it's very, very important to use tools like a heat press pillow, or make sure that you're getting the surface area you're pressing on raised above the seams or the buttons. So what I do on the heat press with these is I actually leave the buttons off of the bottom of the heat press. So I kind of line it up to where these are laying off of it, and then I use my heat press pillow in the center, which will actually alleviate any of that uneven pressure from the shoulder seams or the collar itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is preheat this for a couple seconds.
All right, while you're doing that, we got a couple questions here.
Sure.
All right, Leandra says, I think my comment got missed, but has anyone used Easy Reflective HTV on masks, and would it be safe to use on masks?
Yes, you can absolutely do that. I was going to use Easy Reflective right now, but I know that we have it on back order on our end, so that's my bad. We're working on getting that available everywhere. But you can, if you have some on hand, hang on to it. But you can absolutely use Easy Reflective onto your mask. So to answer your question, again, if you ever look up any of our products and they're CPSI certified, that's okay. That means that you're safe to use it on your mask. That means we put it through the rigorous tests.
Here's a good question. Can you apply Siser to paper masks?
Well, where there's a will, there's a way. You know what I mean? That's what I kind of tell people when they do things that are outside of textiles. I got to tell you, a really awesome project I did that I made a quick video on and it went viral is I pressed our heat transfer vinyl. It was actually the Easyweed adhesive with the foils on top of it. And I did that on paper napkins. And I did like a Mr. and Mrs. for wedding, kind of parties or whatever. And I decorated those and it absolutely worked. So if it worked on a paper napkin, I don't see why it wouldn't work on a paper mask.
Good question.
That's a great question. We always tell people if it isn't textile, if we don't have a chart that has, it listed on it as an okay, it becomes extremely experimental. When we have things on our documents that recommend we say yes or no, it always comes down to a textile and whether or not it's going to be washed. That's another thing. So if you go and put something on a hat and you want to defy what we say if we say you can't layer our regular glitter on top of one another and you put it on a hat, I mean, how often are you washing hats? Or a bag, like a tote bag? Something like that where it's not going to be washed as frequently. So when we say no, it's because we expect you to wash it every time it's used. I hope that makes sense. Cool? All right. So I'm going to do this application real fast. Again, I'm using Easyweed Fluorescent as my underbase. And you guys got me excited. I misread that. I thought it was going to be sparkle. I'm so hurt by that.
That's
All right, so we're going to press the fluorescent. Again, 1 second tack. You guys saw that. Now, I'm going to lay my clear, it's hard to tell, it's milky, but it is a transparent sparkle heat transfer vinyl directly on top of. So I just want to show you before and after real fast. So this is what the fluorescent looks like on its own. That's the fluorescent green Easyweed. Now with the clear directly on top of it, and just like the last one, you tap that down, hot peel. It might be hard to see, but I got to get closer, you guys. I'm going to do the last one real fast. So I layered the clear directly on top of it, and my last is going to be the orange sparkle on top of that. And we're going to press it for the full duration.
All right, quick question from Christina. She says, is there any way I can use to stop my trader paper from cracking? I'm assuming anything she can use to stop trader paper from cracking after a few years of wear and tear.
Trader paper?
That sounds like a Danielle question. Oh, it's all right.
I'm not totally trader paper. I don't know what that. Is that Christine?
Yeah, Christina.
Christine, just clarify what you mean, and then I can help you out with that one.
I'm going to come in close just to show you. So the clear, it's tough to tell on here, but it is sparkly. This is the world we're living in. But that's 3 layers. The fluorescent, oh man, I wish it gave a little bit of that reflected, but you can see it subtly. But that's 3 layers on top of. So the fluorescent green, Easyweed as the underbase, the clear sparkle over it, and then the orange sparkle as the top layer. So yes, you can layer the sparkle, just not twinkle.
Okay, she meant transfer.
Okay.
Well, I guess because I did that one, I have to do the hers because we did a his and hers. So just sorry.
Joe's just gonna prep all day long.
I feel really incomplete by not doing the his and hers.
Now, is this also the what is that? The invisible or the glow in the dark?
No, not the glow in the dark. I'm going to use clear again because I want to show you. This is what the transfer. This is 3 different sparkles layered on each other. So as you can see, the ghost figure is the clear again. But I want to show you what it's going to look like to go on a dark green bodysuit.
We're learning.
You know what I'm saying, right, Gianna? Bodysuit. You heard it here. All right, so I'm going to preheat.
I don't know why it keeps doing that. I don't know. The thing don't like me today.
Okay. So the first layer I'm going to put down is our clear. Check that down for a second.
Yes, now we all know it's a bodysuit and not a other thing.
Other thing.
I mean, if you guys walk away with one thing, let it be that. I mean, everything else I talked about out the window, but that, most important.
Ah, okay. Thanks, Bo.
What did Bo say?
He said the Easyweed fluorescent does react and glow when under a black light.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did a, again, like a shameless plug here. we did a Facebook on our Facebook page, just Siser North America. We did a fluorescent Easyweed week about 2 weeks ago. I did an example of all our fluorescent colors on one design that Bo actually came up with. Very, very cool looking. And then we turned on the black lights in the studio to see what it looks like under the black light. And it's very, very cool.
All right.
Right, so here is the next one. That was a quick application. This was 3 colors. But there you go. That's the action of the clear on this dark green shirt. So again, it's very subtle, which works for the ghost figure. But you can see that. And then you got yourself a little. Am I holding that up right? There you go. So you got the his and hers. What do you think of it, Gianna? Cool?
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
And then you can add on the mask, which that completes the whole set. So yeah, we definitely kept it Halloween themed. I hope this answered some questions. I hope you guys got a little bit of influence for the coming season. Fall is still around the corner. I know that times are crazy right now, but it's fun to keep crafting, coming up with new things to try to keep some normalcy. And as you saw, all these projects were really simple to do. A lot of good ideas. I see them all the time. I get influenced by everybody that's on social media. So keep on helping us out with new ideas and stuff that we can show. And as always, we're always coming out with new products at Siser. I'm sure you're sick of it, right, Danielle? Like
No,
new
not at all. No, I don't love new stuff.
Not at all, because as you can see behind me, I don't know if you can kind of see the 2 shirts behind me, but those are the 2 brand new glitter colors we just launched this week. So those are out now, which are really cool. Bo made a Justin Bieber design. And he had me press this live. So for those that love Justin Bieber, that's the 2 colors together. Oh, and we wanted to show you this too, because I know we didn't really show much with strip lock, and somebody mentioned strip lock, but on our YouTube channel, if you want to, head over to our YouTube channel, just Siser North America. Check it out. We have a lot of application videos, a lot of fun stuff to show. But this was one of the latest ones, and we designed this. This is 15 colors of Siser Strip Lock Pro on one design. So 15 colors. And if you guys don't know about the Strip Lock Pro, it's that soft suede kind of velvety look. But what's awesome about this product line and how we changed it is that you can layer on each other. It's a hot peel, and it adds awesome dimension. So you can see how we made that video, or how we made this design. And then back. Oh, this was the bag we did to go with it, which combined 5 different Siser products on it. So lots of fun. We always have stuff. Does anyone have any last minute questions?
Somebody said, Joe, put on the Bieber shirt.
Yeah.
Bo made one for me to wear. I just did a live on Wednesday, just 2 days ago, and it did say Bieber. It wasn't that one, but he got in his Bieber kit because he loves him so much.
All right.
All right.
There's another question from earlier.
There was a question from earlier. Howie said, can I ask it a different way from his earlier question? Do you carry a vinyl that can mimic a screen printed discharge bleed through look and feel and matte?
No glitter or gloss, thanks.
In matte. I'm really, really sorry. Like I'm not a screen printer. So I'm not entirely sure what that looks like, but I might, hold on a sec. Whoa. Do you have that Easyweed adhesive shirt with just the adhesive on it? Where's it at?
Give it up.
Never mind. He took it home to wash it. We have a product that's just our adhesive. There's a video going out tonight on our YouTube channel that's actually going to show it. It talks about the Easyweed adhesive with the foils over it. So for those that want to see that, go there. But I really am sorry, I don't know how to fully answer that question. So I maybe don't have something, but you can absolutely. I just said it.
Howie, if you can send us an email, I will try and dive into that a little bit more after the live.
Yeah. I do apologize that I'm not familiar with the question. Because again, we're only in the heat transfer vinyl world. I'd imagine if it's something that's translucent, we have that product. It's just an adhesive. So it's going to just show whatever you apply it on. It's just going to show the color of the garment through it. And it's going to give a little bit of a tone-on-tone effect, which is what a lot of people do.
Okay. Christina asks, Howie says, great, thanks. Christina asks, what can I use to stop my transfer picture from cracking?
That's for transfer papers. So, Christina, if you can also send in an email, I will give you some tips and tricks for that as well. Service at Pro World Inc. Just send that email through, and then we'll be able to help you out with that. It does have to do a lot with pressure, though. So, like Joe mentioned a lot with the seams and things with the face masks, pressure is always so important. And that's the cracking that you get from that transfer paper if you don't have enough pressure. But we'll be able to help you out more with that when you send that email, and send some photos if possible, too.
All right. And Larry says, can you use Siser Vinyl with embroidery to make applique designs?
Absolutely. One of the more popular ones is the regular glitter. So what a lot of people that do use embroidery and they want that glitter effect, they can easily stitch directly over our glitter heat transfer vinyl and simply tear away. I can't walk you through the exact process because I'm not an embroiderer, but I have a lot of customers that use that. I've seen it with our glitter heat transfer vinyl. I've seen it with our Easyweed. I've even seen it with our holographic heat transfer vinyl. So you can absolutely do that. That's a good question.
Great. Anything else that came
Awesome.
through?
I'm looking in the beginning.
No.
All right. Well, Joe, I think we're done.
Okay. I mean, otherwise I could keep going. I don't want to bore anyone. We've crossed path over the onesie and the bodysuit, the most important.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and showing us some tips and tricks for putting on face masks and all your designs. We will definitely welcome you back to dive into that EasySubli topic that we were speaking about earlier. So that will be in the future for another Facebook Live.
Oh, wait, I found one.
That's okay. We'll answer that off camera. All right. And so I think that's good for today. And we will see you, Joe, another time, another month.
I'm looking forward to it. And again, if it's anything regarding Siser products, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to answer any questions. If you're looking to get your hands on any of the products itself, please contact Pro World. They always have great deals going on, plus all the awesome equipment that you need to get your business going. So it's definitely a pleasure to have this awesome partnership. Thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I hope it helped. I hope it inspired some people. Again, please feel free to go and join our Siser North America support group. Go head over to our YouTube channel. Give it a subscribe if you have other application videos you have questions about, or applications with Siser products, I should say. Plus, much, much more. So yeah, we're here to help any way we can. Pro World is the spot to go if you're getting your hands on any of these things we showed you before, and we will be back. I'm going to wait patiently, and we're going to talk EasySubli and go over that fun topic that is still such a big topic for everybody.
Very much so.
All right. We got a couple quick questions. They're coming in late. I'm sorry. Eric says, why is my ink still wet for days when printed on EasySubli?
That's an awesome question. And again, we'll talk more, but just to let you know, when you print on your EasySubli, what happens in sublimation, in order for it to actually become sublimation, it requires that heat. So it requires the heat application step for it to actually bond those inks to the fibers. So what's happening is after you pull it out of the printer, those inks are still vulnerable. So a quick tip After you print it, try to avoid waiting any longer than 24 to 48 hours before you apply it. Because I just want to let you know, when you print it and those inks are vulnerable the way they are, what happens is the air is causing those inks to actually gas out. So the longer you wait with the vulnerable EasySubli that's printed on, the weaker or the lesser the results are going to be when you press it finally. So again, when you touch that ink after it's on the EasySubli without it being pressed, it's going to be it's going to still be damp. It's going to be wet.
All right.
Okay. Is that good?
That's good.
All right. Well, thank you again, Joe. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And we'll see everybody from Pro World next week. And we'll see Joe another time. We'll go set it up with him.
Everybody from Pro World?
Uh-oh.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.